Arch Madness, more like Arch Sadness.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Our intent was to eat. Our intent was to come eat and be hungry.
We're taking receipts, and we'll see you at the national championship.
Taking receipts, and Florida got a big win in the Swamp, which we will talk about eventually. Welcome back to the South End Zone. My name is Tyler. I'm joined as always by my good friend Chad, who they had the week off. Before we get into anything else about this week 6 weekend, I want to make sure everybody likes, comments, shares, subscribes, talk shit. That's all you guys know how to do, apparently, which is fine. We'll take it.
We miss you, by the way. We miss you, folks.
We miss you, folks. Like, yeah, come on back. It's okay. We forgive you. Florida. See, I was ready to jump on the Florida fans that pump the brakes video comments, but we'll have to give it the season a little bit more time.
I mean, we were still right. It's just it's they've got life now.
All right. Before we get into the other games of the weekend, do you mind if I just give a little Georgia rundown since you had the week off, Chad?
Hit it, man. Hit it.
All right, let's get right into it. We took care of business. And if I have anything to say about this game, and I know that Chad's going to keep me a little bit in check here, it was you see all the stuff we could do? Well, we didn't do it against Alabama, but we did it against Kentucky. See all these plays and personnel that we have available? We didn't do any of it. Really annoying. But we looked good against Kentucky, which is important, mind you, because it's a get-right spot at home once again. The recap of this game isn't too crazy. I will say, though, first quarter, we possessed the ball for 11 minutes and 24 seconds of the first quarter. Looked good. We made Chauncey Bowens the feature back this game. He rushed for about 70-something yards, but he is the Nick Chubb to the Sony Michel when we don't have either one right now, where you give him the ball, and if he's going to go off the tackle or up the middle, he's going to hit somebody, and he's going to get a couple extra yards. Very, very important for us. So first quarter, we own that quarter plain and simple, 11 minutes and 24 seconds of possession. Both drives include just like solid, what can I tell you, solid drives, good mix of pass and the run, and also Gunner using his feet because he scores on both of those possessions to go up 14-0. Yes. And then a second quarter, it's just a busted coverage to their tight end. Or it's like the I don't know if it's a linebacker or the safety, just like, I don't know, he just came down to the line, and then that tight end just like slipped out, ran up the middle for it was like a 4-play drive. They scored 14-7. And those are the only points they scored against our starting defense. Gunner then throws his first interception of the entire year. Punt. We drive down the field. And a drive completely comprised of runs. We look good. And then we throw a little misdirection jet sweep to Dylan Bell, who I've said we have not used enough. He has been here the entire goddamn time, Kirby. And he's very good. He has been good every year.
Let's not lament spilled milk. What happened last week? What happened last week?
Yes,
you're learning and you're figuring stuff out. That's the important thing.
It was like we're all gonna go this way, and we're gonna fake the handoff to Nate Frazier, and we're gonna turn around and hand it to Dylan Bell going out the back. It looked really nice. We score there, and the Kentucky tries to score going down to the end of the half. We turn them over. Lovely. Third quarter starts. Kentucky fumbles the ball, recovered by C.J. Allen. We finally get I think it was our first fourth turnover of the entire. Actually, no, we had some picks in the Tennessee game. I think it was our first forced fumble. That feels right. We capitalize with an Oscar Delp sighting, who takes it down to the 10-yard line. We then do something very similar, where it's like, hey, we're all going to go this way. We're just going to pitch it to Dylan Bell once again, going out the back door. And if it's anything I can tell you, Chad, would have been a good play to use on 4th and 1. I'm sorry, still salty about it, but it's just when you have a guy walk in with nobody near him and just green grass, it's just like, ugh. They punt, we get down the field, Once again, this is Dillon Bell's game. Gunner throws a ball down the sideline. Dillon Bell one-handed grab. Beautiful. And then, Chad, we score with Cass Jones. And you know what we do? We throw it to him.
Yeah.
Because that's what he does. I sent you that play.
Sit there in pass pro and then slip out and
yes.
drop right into the into the middle of the field.
Third down back for a reason.
Yeah.
When you need an extra receiver out there, that's who you put out there.
Yeah, that's why they put him back out there on third down.
Yes,
they just failed to take him off the field for fourth down.
Yes. Well, you can't go tempo if you want to switch up personnel. I agree.
I'm just messing with you because I already know they called both of those plays back to back, and you were just very frustrated.
Frustrating. It's hard to it takes away the fact that we look good doing this game. After that Cass Jones touchdown, we take the starters out. Like a minute left in the third quarter, and they handle themselves just fine. Ryan Puglisi throws it around a little bit. And we do give up a touchdown late, but it literally took us pulling our entire starting lineup for them to score again. We wrap up real nice, 35-14 in Athens, and we all go home happy. Gunner throws for 196, a touchdown, a pick. 6 carries for 48 yards and 2 touchdowns. Chauncey Bowens, 15 carries for 70 yards. And we did not bench Nate Frazier entirely. I think we just kind of flipped our scheme. We're like, well, Bowens can get us one, he holds on to the ball, and 2, he can really hit somebody and get extra yards. He is yards after contact if I've ever seen it. Dillon Bell was the player of the game, 4 catches, 68 yards, and then only 2 carries for 6 yards and a touchdown, but important carries as such. And then one player I was very happy to see involved in the game, Elias Williams, freshman tight end, 6'5", 255, 3 catches, 48 yards, and he could move. All in all, happy with the result. It's just kind of, I'm going to say it one more time, it just burns you a little bit to where we give these looks and these personnel groupings and these play calls. We're like, oh, we can, do these things, and we just didn't do them. But it's against the Alabama defense. It's game by game, you game plan for specific things. And we ran the plays we ran because of what we saw Kentucky giving us. Yeah. That's just the bottom line. And so, I know this is not the important game of the week for everybody else, but we got it done. Yeah. It was a get back on track game, and we got back on track. That's the most important part. Chad, you have anything?
No. I mean, congratulations, survive in advance. It's just every win in the SEC is a win that you get to notch it in your belt and move on. So get ready because this week you got a doozy. Auburn's not going to be easy. We'll get to that in our preview episode later on this week. But what was the marquee matchup of this week was this one right here, Miami, Florida State, and man, going down to Tallahassee and trying to get it done. Florida State, you thought maybe they would put up a little bit more than what they did, but Miami just came out guns a-blazing. And
Castellanos did all he could to try to keep Florida State afloat. There is teams we see where it's the quarterback tries to put the whole game on him. And, but listen, man, Flowers to Carson Beck, 20 for 27, 241, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Malachi Toney, freshman.
Yeah, monster,
7 catches, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns.
And that nice security blanket of CJ Daniels too. And
dude, just running little slants. Yeah. Did you see his touchdowns? He had 2 touchdowns, and he got in the camera and started doing the Florida State fight chant in the camera.
I mean, look, congrats to him. It was one of those things where I hated to see him leave LSU because I was excited when they got him to transfer to LSU from Liberty last year. Disappointed to see him go, but they brought a bunch of other guys in.
Liberty.
But but he's right at home, and it's the perfect kind of guy for Carson Beck, who I'm sure was extremely frustrated after last year having all those drops.
Yep.
This is a guy who is as sure-handed as they come and is going to he's not going to burn anybody. He's not going to smoke anybody down the sideline, but he creates separation with just like he's got this moxie. He's got this I don't know, this like veteran way of just finding a way to leverage and give himself space. So shout out to CJ Daniels. And look, they've got other dudes, Mark Fletcher running the ball, but then you go to that defensive side of the ball, and like Ruben Bain is a monster.
Dog.
That dude is a beast.
Well,
And
sorry, go ahead.
No, and I just like Florida State's what they love to do is kind of get you on your heels and run the ball and run these, multiple different sets and looks, and then use play action and let Castellanos do stuff with his feet, but also look downfield. And they just had him in a blender. First of all, getting out to a lead and then just forcing them to become a little more one-dimensional, it made it really tough on Florida State. And that Miami defense is legit. But it does speak a lot to, you look at how Florida performed against Texas versus how they performed. I mean, they were right there with Miami with the ball and a chance to take the lead in the third quarter. And Florida State didn't look as good as Florida did 2 weeks ago.
This score doesn't it was like 28-3 for like the longest time.
Yes.
And then Florida State scores in a hurry, but it's still too late. And honestly, Chad, it's for a lot of college football, there really has not been a lot of teams that have separated themselves.
Yeah.
Miami is one of them.
Miami is. Yep.
Miami looks damn good, and you can't say anything otherwise, in my opinion, man. They look good.
And I don't see a loss on the rest of their
schedule. That's
if
what
you
a lot
look
of
at the rest of
people
their
have said.
schedule, it's like
They've won all their hard games 5-0.
Yes, they won the Florida State Championship already, and that's it. It's I think they've got, who do they have? They don't even have Georgia Tech. They have somebody. I'm trying to remember who.
I can pull up their schedule.
Who else they have? But it's not a daunting road that they have ahead of them.
No, that's what's crazy is like they finally will leave the state of Florida to play like in November,
right,
for the first time, which is also wild. But they have Louisville, Stanford, SMU, Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt.
Oh, they at SMU is probably
yes.
The one
it's when they go to Dallas. It's the first time they leave the state of Florida is they go to Dallas to play SMU. Yeah, bro.
But I don't. It's gonna be it's not a walkover gimme or anything like that. No. But that's the fact that that's there. We're looking for it is like Louisville, Syracuse. So I don't and look. It's Mario Cristobal.
Yes,
it's Florida State. I mean, it's Miami. And we saw what they did last year, where I wouldn't put it past them to find a way to have an inexplicable loss here or there. But I think that what he has built and the guys that he brought in this year to kind of solidify, plug some of the holes that they had last year, because defensively they were terrible last year. Mm-hmm. That is not the case this year.
Not at
all.
One
of the best defenses in the country. And so it's going to be, I would not be surprised at all if, when it's all said and done, Miami's the number 1 seed, undefeated after winning the ACC championship. Now, it could be that they have to play maybe a rejuvenated Clemson or a loaded for bear Georgia Tech or Florida State again. Exactly. They could have to play Florida State again. So,
I would love to run this back in the ACC championship.
For sure.
Like that'd be electric. Sure. Like to have like the pregame when you have like the hype videos with Ray Lewis and Jameis Winston, and you have Michael Irvin possibly, hitting the slopes before the game on the sideline, like just juiced up.
Yeah.
Like, it
was Benjamin all comes out of retirement to do some something,
it's all
Charlie Ward.
Man.
Who knows? He got all kind of dudes.
I'd be happy to run this back.
Deion Sanders comes in. Oh no, wait, he's coaching. Is he still coaching? I don't know. He might not be coaching by then. Who knows?
He is as of right now, he's still coaching. But hey, shouts to Miami. They've separated themselves, which has been very hard to do in this era of college football.
Yeah,
like you said, it's getting closer and closer to the NFL by the minute.
Yep.
With the lines becoming razor thin. Where we going next, Chad? Show us.
Not so razor thin line.
Not so razor thin. It was close. It was like close for like a hot sec, and then Texas A&M was like, "Nah, bro, sorry."
Yeah, it looked good on paper, but I think this is what going into College Station. It's like Kyle Field ain't no joke. That place is rocking. I've been there twice. It's It's crazy. They're weirdos. They do some really weird stuff with their cheerleading and whatever other kind of stuff. Some other weird stuff, but they're loud. They are noisy, and Mike Elko's got a squad. He's legit got a squad. Like they play really good defense, and Marcel Reed in that running game and that passing game is getting it done. And Mississippi State is what they're showing you is like your standard, typical Mississippi State, Arkansas, South Carolina, and even like to an extent, A&M has been this way. I think A&M is finally turning the corner, but
yes,
it's this. We're good enough to like mess stuff up for you if we catch you slipping.
Yeah.
But if you come correct, this is how it should look
Yep.
when you play a team like Mississippi State. But they're good enough. They got enough talent, a little shallow depth wise. But if they can catch you slipping, then they can actually get you. But yeah, 17.5-point spread coming in, and A&M had no problem covering that. What was your take on this watching it?
I think it's execution, man. I think, like you said, it was that sort of like Texas A&M sometimes does slip on these games when you have a Mississippi State who is clearly on an upswing of some sort. Like they're not going to win the SEC, but like they are dragging their program out of the depths.
Yeah, they're trending towards bowl eligibility, which is like a good thing for them.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Mississippi State is bowl eligible this season, that is a massive, massive win for their program. Because that would also require them to win the SEC, which they have not done yet since Mike Leach passed away, to my knowledge. And yeah, it's a Texas A&M getting it done. The receiving core, the Mario Craver, Casey Concepcion is exactly what Marcel Reed needs to be able to be an effective passer, because they can get wide ass open, man. And then once they catch the ball, it's almost so hard to tackle them in the open field.
They're really slippery, man.
What makes a good team, and we're seeing it right now, Miami, they have two dudes.
Yep.
Texas A&M has two dudes. They can spread the ball out. You have to honor both, and you usually you have your CB1 and your CB2, and you can't cover both of them half the time. And so that's huge for them. I think that Texas A&M is it crazy to say we might see Texas A&M in the SEC championship?
There's still plenty of time for
There is
them
plenty
to
of
go
time, but they're getting closer and closer, man.
Yeah, plenty of time, plenty of potential losses on the board for them to go 8-4. They will be Texas 8-4 until proven otherwise.
It's true,
because so far they are 0-3 in the seasons of this show, not going 8-4 or worse. So let's pump the brakes a little bit there, hold off, because they've got to prove it to us before we'll grant them any status other than Texas 8-4. Now, who's not going to be Texas 8-4 is Texas Tech.
Hell no.
Oh man,
dude, they're real. They're legit.
Spending money works.
Yeah, they upped that defense by. It's crazy. Like they had good guys on defense, and they just cranked that thing up. And what's crazy is their most productive guys on the offensive side of the ball have been at Texas Tech this entire time.
Yeah,
Baron Morton, the quarterback, which we'll talk about, in the preview of this coming week. He's great, man. And they once they beat the shit out of Utah, it's like, well, who's going to step to that at this point in the Big 12? I think this is your Big 12 champ.
So let's do a little transitive property for a second here, okay?
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Follow me here. All right, let's go to the scoreboard here.
Boy.
Give me just a second here.
We have a clip on our hands, folks. Hold on.
Yeah. This is some transitive property stuff.
We
so remember
love the transitive property of football.
When we did our series before the season started, we said that you should pump the tires on one John Mateer, which, broken hand notwithstanding, we were dead on with that, and hope he's back healthy soon. Looks like he's not going to be ready for the Red River rivalry, but hopefully sooner rather than later he will be ready. But what we also did was we told you to pump the tires on three guys: DJ Lagway,
pump the brakes,
Lenora Sellers. We didn't say these guys are bad. We just said pump the brakes on them. What was the third guy?
Drew Allen.
Remember who the third guy was? All right. Yes. So Drew Aller, you are correct. Now let me share this screen because you, my friend, are about to pick up what I'm putting down here. So
We love the transitive property of college football here.
Yeah, the transitive property of college football exists. It is a real thing, and we are going to bring it up full force. So what is this? UCLA beats Penn State, and I am told that, but it's tough to go travel on the road to the West Coast. Really? Against a team that's 0-4 coming into this game and what were they? Like 2-9 last year or something awful.
They had not led at any point of any game up until that game.
Yeah.
We will talk about more about that game, by the way, folks.
Well, so what were we just talking about, though? Utah beat this team 43-10. A team that just beat Penn State. Now, what were we talking about with Utah? Let's look at Utah's schedule. Who did they play? Oh, they played Texas Tech. And Texas Tech beat them 34-10. So by the transitive property of college football, Texas Tech would beat Penn State like 59-30.
Yep.
So that's all I'm saying. That's your little lesson in the transitive property of college football.
Welcome to school, folks.
Welcome to the South End Zone. Welcome to school. Texas Tech beats the brakes off of Houston. It was not even close. Tortillas were not flying everywhere, but they will be the next time Texas Tech is at home. Maybe they threw a few in Houston. I don't know. But
because Houston was undefeated that this game even had any bit of light shed on it. Houston literally just – because Houston beat 0-5 Oregon State. Whoa. It barely beat them, mind you.
Right.
That this game was even being talked about. Texas Tech is far and away. If Baylor could play even a lick of defense, they would also be in the conversation for the Big 12.
Yeah, but they cannot.
They keep winning most of their games despite
by like a field goal at the buzzer when
they just did it against Kansas State. So,
which isn't saying much because Kansas State has lost to everybody.
Play any defense, but I digress. Yeah, Texas Tech is absolutely legit. And I think a shoe-in for the college football playoff this year.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, so we already talked about it a little bit.
Yep.
We got to witness this one. Was this the Nico Iamaleava coming out party? It's
the Jerry Neuheisel play calling coming out game. So he's the son. He was the quarterback of UCLA like 2012, 2014. His first game ever calling plays. His dad is Mr. Rick Neuheisel on TV, former coach and player from UCLA. And Jerry, half the time, didn't even have his headset on. He literally admitted that half the time he was calling plays, had the headset, the mic up here, or not pressing the button, and just like, you let that guy have a coaching masterclass to get your fucking defense, Penn State. And I will say this. Sometimes it truly is about the coaching versus player, because Nico, we were all concerned, and then he shows up and accounts for 5 touchdowns in this game, man. And this game is so much more close than it appears because at the half, UCLA had it was 27-7. Yeah. And then at the coming out of the half, it was like, quick strike touchdown and a blocked punt touchdown, and it was 27-21.
Yeah.
And I would give Drew Aller his little bit of flowers that he, was 19 for 26, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 11 carries for 78 yards.
A lot of
leading rusher.
A lot of that in garbage time, though, where he's like, where UCLA
if you count the second half garbage time, then yes, because UCLA had such a lead.
So when I say garbage time, what I mean is this wasn't like this was a back and forth battle. This was, you're down by 3 touchdowns, and they're playing a little softer coverage so that they don't get beat deep, and you're just nickel and diming down the field and putting up numbers.
Well,
but the numbers end up being meaningless at the end of the day because you lost to UCLA, who's 0-4 coming into this game, and who I have to go back and look, but I think they might have gone 3-8, 2-9 last year. Their previous coach was just absolutely abysmal. That was terrible. Great running back, but he's not getting it done.
So bad. And they're free of that. Maybe they can salvage some of this season. We'll have to see. But just a little fun fact for everybody. Shout out to interim UCLA head coach Tim Skipper. You now have the exact same amount of top 10 Big Ten wins as James Franklin. 1.
Right.
It's like, come on, bro. Like, I have always liked James Franklin as a person, but as a coach, it is just. Are we getting to the end here, Chad? Do we think?
Yeah. That was going to be my question. Is there's a few coaches who I think are putting themselves in a position to be on the way out. James Franklin, like I feel like if Penn State doesn't run the table and somehow
win the Big Ten,
find a way to get into the Big Ten championship and win it, they're not making the playoff.
And I'm pretty sure they still have to play Indiana this year too.
And forget about that.
They don't have State.
Do they? I don't know. Do they play Ohio State?
They play both. I'm pretty sure this year.
If they do, then they have a chance to redeem themselves.
I'm almost positive.
They do play them back to back. Actually,
yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, I'm almost positive they play both.
At the shoe, and then Indiana at home right after that. So if they win both of those games, they're back in the conversation. But what we're trying to figure out right now is that even a realistic ask for this squad? I don't think it is. I think Oregon broke them last week, and like this was the letdown of letdowns because this was that Oregon game was their chance to make a statement. Bro. Yeah,
like this was the upset of all upsets because it was so bad that UCLA didn't even rush the field. There weren't even enough people there to do it. Like you beat a top 10 team at the Rose Bowl, they're like, yay!
And there was much rejoicing, and then they ate their minstrels.
Yeah, jeez, dude. So who even knows what's going to happen with Penn State? Like it's okay. Like I said, Franklin, good guy, good culture guy, good recruiter. Yeah. As a play caller and game planner, holy shit, is it terrible?
No, it reminds me of Les Miles. Like it reminds me of Les Miles. Towards the end when Les Miles was getting really, really bad. And we would just we would either call timeouts at the wrong time. I remember there was one time, there's 30 seconds left on the play clock. We have the lead and we're lining up to get into field goal range. We're going to run one more play on third down to see if we can get a first down. If we get a first down, game over, we kneel it out. If we don't get the first down, we're lined up to kick a field goal. So we're okay either way. Les Miles calls a timeout with a minute 20 left in the game with 30 seconds left on the play clock. And I'm like, what are we doing here, bro? Or whatever, the full play clock. I think it's 25 seconds in college. Anyway, the point is you could have burned that thing all the way down and then called your timeout if you needed to call a timeout. Make Alabama at the time. Anyway, it's just one of those things. This is what the sort of stuff I see with Franklin where it's there needs to be someone standing next to him telling him right before he does something, hey, don't do that.
Hey, stop.
Stop. I saw what you were about to do.
Play with water like a cat.
He needs someone in his little inside out brain to be pushing buttons inside there to stop him from himself. He's got some little kid on Adderall running around stomping on the buttons in his brain.
Well, when you have 2 minutes left, right, and you're down with a chance to maybe bring it back, and you run the ball 3 times and kill all your clock with no timeouts, and then try to throw it and take I don't even if I took a sack. I don't even know how that game even ended.
He was just listening to us. He was pumping the brakes on Drew Aller. That's all he was doing.
Yeah, bro. And like I said, Drew Aller at least had a reasonable stat line, but fuck, man, Penn State brings in the talent necessary to win football games.
Yeah.
And they have the money, and they have the culture, and they have all of the things necessary to be a good, competitive football team. And yet here we are, year in and year out, and I think it's a great point. It's Penn State's MO has been we lose the big ones, but we win the games like the one that they're playing in this game right here. And they don't even do that. And who the hell knows, bro? That's all I got to say.
Yeah, because if you keep if you keep doing, and that's the thing was like when you play in a conference that is very top heavy,
Very top heavy.
you can go 9-0 against your out of conference and the Rutgers, Michigan States, and Minnesotas of the conference, and then you can go lose to Ohio State and Oregon, and then still get into the playoff.
Well, that's what I said.
By beating no one.
The 12-team playoff was literally made for a team like Penn State.
Yep.
Barring they win these games.
Right, but then when you don't beat the no ones,
then
you're really in tough shape, because now you have to go beat Ohio State at the shoe, or you have to beat Indiana at home, or both. I would argue you might have to do both.
Yeah,
because if you lose, let's say Oregon beats the brakes off of Indiana this week coming up, and then you go lose to Ohio State just like you did last year at home, but this time you have to play them on the road. And let's say Ohio State beats you by 3 touchdowns like they should. Then if you beat Indiana by a field goal the next week, does that really warrant you getting into the playoff now? No. Where's your marquee win?
Yep.
Show me that's your marquee win, beating Indiana at home by a field goal when Indiana is like exposed by Oregon. Probably not. Now, Indiana goes and beats Oregon. Okay, now we're having a different conversation.
Right.
And you better hold your own against Ohio State, and you better beat Indiana convincingly.
Yep.
Because right now you're sitting there with 2 losses. You pick up a 3rd loss,
you're done. You're
on the outside looking in, and you need something big to get you over the top. Because the other thing is, so you could look at like a team like Alabama. I'm trying to think of there's maybe Texas, where you lost. You have 2 losses, or in Alabama's case, you have 1 loss, but one of them is out of conference. Penn State's losses are all going to be in conference.
Yeah, well,
you're not going to the Big Ten championship.
Nope.
You don't have that extra quality win potentially to bail you out, like Clemson did last year, where Clemson got to get into the playoff just by winning the ACC.
And then Penn State had the quality loss in the Big Ten championship because they took Oregon to the brink.
Right, because they played toe to toe with Oregon. But yeah, it's not. It ain't the same, man.
No.
And the committee doesn't even really count the championship game losses so much against you, because they look at it like, hey, you got there, that's good enough, and like we're not gonna penalize you for getting to a game, and it's fair. I wish they had done this prior, but I think it's very fair to say, like, if you get to that game, we're not going to penalize you because you lost it. Meanwhile, reward somebody who didn't even get there.
Yeah.
Because they just didn't get that loss. When if they had gone, they probably would have lost that game too. You know, it's been a stupid way that the whole system, and it was getting to the point where some conferences were like, you know what, screw this conference championship game nonsense, because all it's doing is costing us a team in the playoff. Georgia.
Yep.
When Florida State got bounced out too. So anyway, yeah, it's there are a few coaches who are in trouble. Billy Napier may not be one of them for the time being, but
the Billy Napier save his job switch has been flipped, and who knows what is going to happen with the Florida Gators now.
And look, they got another one. They go to College Station this week coming up. They could win this Texas State championship, even though they lost the Florida State championship. Although Texas Tech might have something to say about that, and that would be really cool. Like, you know, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, like have Texas Tech just be like, hey, we're still over here.
Hey.
Old Big 12 school over here doing our thing. But yeah, so Florida vindicates themselves here. You know, all the slander of DJ Lagway, all the slander of, you know, LSU beat Florida because they gave them the game and all this other stuff, and Florida's no good. DJ Lagway's no good. Like, we told you to pump the brakes because we thought DJ Lagway was overhyped, not because we thought he was bad. We even said this. If you watched us, the episode where we said pump the brakes on DJ Lagway, we said, we're not saying he's bad. We're just saying the hype is that people are out over their skis and you're going to collapse into a snowball. Calm down, pump the brakes. That's all we said. But then the focus started shifting to, should we be pumping the brakes on Arch Manning? Because Arch Manning is not getting it done.
Okay. Let me ask you this, everybody. Why did we, as the college football public, have a reason to believe in Arch Manning prior to this season other than his name?
I mean,
what reason
as
did
the
we
number
have?
one overall quarterback and all,
But
similar
why?
to like,
why was he that? Why was he the one overall quarterback? Why was he that?
It's the name recognition. And look, let's be real. If you have a generational, like, I don't know, triumvirate of Archie Manning, who probably would have been in the Hall of Fame had he not played for the Oilers and the Saints. This was a dude who was running for his life. You go watch film of Archie Manning,
just literally sprinting
and
around.
it's like Fran Tarkenton, running around backwards behind, just running for his life, literally running for his life all the time,
Yep.
and trying to do what he can. He would have been in the Hall of Fame. Great, tremendous athlete. National championship level college player, all that good stuff. Shout out to LSU for beating them anyway. But he was good. And then he has two sons. Well, three sons. Arch's dad, Cooper, who hurt his neck in high school. He was a receiver, catching passes from his brother Peyton. But Cooper Manning, who is a tremendous athlete, that's why everybody's so shocked that Arch can run the ball. And it's like, well, no,
his dad was the most athletic.
His dad was the most athletic of the Mannings. So, and his grandpa was pretty freaking athletic too.
Yep.
He was running for his life, and he was surviving in the NFL because he could run. So, but then Peyton, just elite level processor, and just like a guy who. You could just put him out on the field and not call a play, and he would just like step up to the line of scrimmage in the shotgun and just be like, all right, we're running this. Okay, wait, no, the linebacker moved over. Okay, now we're running this. Okay, you come in over here, Marvin. And, he had weapons. Don't get me wrong. Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, all those guys. But Peyton Manning was a monster. And then Eli surpassed his brother, won more Super Bowls, could actually beat Tom Brady. He actually had Tom Brady's number.
Yeah, beat Tom Brady twice.
Tom Brady had Peyton's number. So it makes sense that like their nephew would have and is putting up all the numbers that he was putting up, playing at the same school that they played at. So like you can say, oh, it's a 2A school, private school, and the competition, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is it's the same competition they played against, and they got the same accolades. So like that doesn't really land on me, but he's not getting it done, man. And there's something that bothered me watching him week one with his arm angle. Throws a lot of like 3/4 to sidearm.
Well, he misses like wide open dudes.
Yeah, and it's just but I think his platform is like very erratic, leads itself to inconsistency.
Yeah.
Because and also lends itself to balls getting back down. If you're throwing the ball with this kind of throwing motion, you're not coming over the top and getting the ball over. I mean, that extra 4 to 6 inches over a defensive lineman putting his hand up is a lot. And I don't know. Let's focus on the positives though. So what Florida did is they came in to this game in the swamp, and they had their backs up against the wall. Their coach with his back up against the wall, and they took the preseason #1 team and took them behind the woodshed and beat the piss out of them. Because the reality of this game is that score looks like it was a 1-score game, but it wasn't a 1-score game until like the last possession of the game when Texas finally made it look closer than it actually was. This game was 22-7 in the third quarter. Florida had Arch in a blender, and they actually ran the ball. Jaden Baugh did his thing, and DJ Lagway had a little bit of a coming out party to show everybody he ain't bullshitting. And I'm here for it because this is how it is. Like when you have talent, it's not to say that I don't think Florida has the overall talent. And I also think that with Napier and the difficulty that he has in some situations, and also with the gauntlet that they have to run, this is an extremely tough schedule. They got Texas A&M and College Station next week. They already played Miami. They already played LSU in Tiger Stadium. Now they play Texas. They got to go play A&M and College Station. They still have Florida State down the road at the end of the season.
Yep.
They got you guys.
They do.
It is not an easy schedule. So, that makes it to where it was going to be really difficult for them to run the gauntlet, right? And be SEC champs.
Yeah.
But they're talented enough to do this.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too. It's none of us, we never said that Florida lacked talent. That was never a part of the problem. They have guys, and they always will. That has never
Especially
been
their
a problem.
front seven. Their
Exactly.
front seven has
never been a
dudes. And they got a
problem
good
for
secondary too.
Yes, and that has never been the issue. It's been the execution with that talent that has been the problem, and that talent failing to execute, like Lagway throwing as many interceptions as he did against y'all. But he shows up. He puts this is probably his best statistical game, if I had to guess, against this high of a ranked opponent. If there's without anything to really look at, I could go back and look, but this is one of his best statistical games against a high-ranking opponent, which is great for him, and it's great for Florida, man. So we'll see where they end up, but this is a great way to get. I don't know if you want Napier around, but you're going to keep him around if you
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't know about that either. Not sure how that's all going to go down, but he's sticking around for now at least. And his buyout is what it is, so they're going to have to deal with that as well. But he certainly is. I think he's called the dogs off for a bit. Now, go into College Station and win there, and all of a sudden it's a whole different conversation.
Very different.
And yeah, I know their record is what it is, but I think a 3-3, or what would they be? Would they be? They would be 3-3 at that point. Yeah. 3-3 with those pelts on the wall. I don't know. Now, a pelt that did not get put on the wall, much as he wanted it to. Road dog Diego Pavia goes into Tuscaloosa, and it's a different story down there. This game was a lot closer than this score looks.
Yeah, Alabama scored late. Here's what I have to say. It really came down to, if you want to compare this game to last year's, it's Vandy had 2 costly turnovers
in the red zone.
In the red zone when they had the chance to score. Vandy had a lead, at least early. So they came out and they punched Alabama in the mouth first.
Yep.
They
were about to go up by 2 touchdowns.
They turned Ty Simpson over on the first drive.
Right. They were about to go up 2 touchdowns and Pavia fumbled.
Dude, yes, Pavia fumbled.
It's a good play, a really good punch-out play.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Vandy was executing their offensive game plan. They were doing shovel passes and mixing up looks.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that Ty Simpson said, "Nah, bro, not today." And he has really, and they were saying this a lot in the broadcast. In the era of NIL and transfer portal, Ty Simpson, as a high school senior or whatever, said, "I'm going to go to Alabama, and one day I'm going to be the Alabama starter."
Wait my turn, yeah.
And this is exactly what he's done. Mm-hmm. And he has really played well, and he deserves his flowers for that. He went 23 for 31, 342 tuds and an interception, like we talked about. Well, I think Vanderbilt is. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, can I step back a little bit about, it's not just about the numbers and because sometimes a lot of times the numbers get caught up in the game plan going according to plan. But I saw some plays that he made where he had no business making a play.
Right.
And he's breaking a tackle, spinning out of a pass rush, and wiggling past a guy, and then finding a guy, dumping it off in the flat and picking up 15 yards when it should have been a 6-yard loss, or at the very best, an incompletion. And somehow he turns it into, now it's a first down. Very similar to what you saw on Sunday Night Football with Drake May and the Patriots, where he's just finding ways to make plays and beat the Bills. And that's the sort of thing that, I've been impressed with not just Ty Simpson's ability to operate the offense when guys are getting open downfield and he's got time to throw, but when the play breaks down, his playmaking ability. It reminded me actually a lot of what Diego Pavia did last year against Alabama. And Pavia was still doing some of that stuff.
Yes, he was just not to the level.
He had those 2 plays, like the fumble, trying to get a little bit more yardage and not protecting the ball, and then that pick that he did not need to throw cost him at least 2 field goals. And then you're looking at, instead of it being 30-14, because like you said, Alabama did score late. Now you're looking at it and said it's like 23-20, and we're playing like who gets the ball last type of stuff.
Yep. Listen, I think that the way this resulted, Alabama didn't kill them. Vandy held their own the entire game.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, in a few spots, Alabama succeeded where Vandy didn't. That's really what it came down to. Vanderbilt, in my opinion, is cemented way higher up in the SEC than they have ever been.
Yeah.
And they're not going to go away this season, in my opinion. And who knows? I feel like the SEC, just like last year, we're going to cannibalize ourselves. And who even knows is going to end up in the SEC championship? That's kind of where we're at right now. So, listen, if Vandy sticks around long enough, we'll just have to wait and see. But I am still a big Diego Pavia guy and a big fan of Clark Lee. That's kind of where I end up right now. But it's all credit to Alabama executing the game plan once again to perfection.
But let's remind everybody of one thing, one very important thing. We are talking about how impressive Alabama looked beating Vanderbilt.
It's a different Vanderbilt team, man.
It is, but it's still Vanderbilt.
Okay.
So this is let's wait and see where the dust settles, because last year, same Vanderbilt squad, like not light years different from what it is this year.
It just shows that Alabama came prepared because they didn't want the same thing to happen twice.
I'm just saying that Vanderbilt team went 6-5.
Yeah, it's true.
And beat Alabama. Now this year they lose to Alabama. They're 4-1. Okay, yeah, we'll see. Like, let's see where it all settles out. I still have my my doubts about Alabama. We are going to get into that because they've got their hands full coming up this weekend. But that's for our preview episode, which will come out later this week. Stay tuned for that. While we wrap it up here on our recap.
Apparently, I was like, why is Cincinnati favored? Apparently, this is why. Yeah, and it's even way closer than this game.
This score is not what the game was. This game was
belt to ass.
Cincinnati just pulled out the whooping stick and said, "We're going up 17-0," and then the rest of the game they were just like holding a little kid's head, like while he's like swinging.
Yeah,
he can't reach. They're just like, we're gonna just keep you at arm's length. Keep swinging. I hope you wear yourself out because you need a nap. And Iowa State went to sleep. And it was Cincinnati looks legit.
Sorsby, man.
Tell me about Sorsby. Yeah, what do you think?
He's legit. Like, the game they had against Nebraska, he looked good that whole time. And I think, honestly, the ball balance is a little bit different in that Nebraska game. You have a 5-0 Cincy team. And I think we're going to see them competing down the stretch in the Big 12. That's kind of where I see it now.
Yeah. Well,
I think that Texas Tech is far and away the best team. But if somebody's going to be stepping to them, it's going to be somebody like Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, Texas Tech, coming up down the road could be a very interesting Big 12 championship.
Battle of the same colors, if you think about it. It's going to be
a
uniform matchup.
Yeah. Now, Cincinnati did lose that season opener to Nebraska. Kind of just one of those. I'm sure they're looking back at what could have been, because they could be undefeated right now, lost by a field goal in that one. But yeah, so like these two teams, Texas Tech and Cincinnati, they do not play each other in the regular season. So if things continue according to plan, they very much are on a collision course to meet in the Big 12 championship. So that's going to be fun. Like I like seeing when there's not just the Big Ten and the SEC, and you actually have some legit contenders. We've got a legit contender in the ACC, possibly the best team in college football in the ACC right now.
Right.
And then you have, on the other side, you have the Big 12 with Texas Tech that looks legit, looks every bit of the part, and then Cincinnati. And we'll see who else may be able to rise up in that league. BYU 5-0 as well, not a bad football team. We'll see how it all shakes out in the Big 12 as we move forward. But finally, in this recap episode, Tyler, the Michigan Wolverines handled business at home in the Big House against Wisconsin. They did not cover against what I think is a Wisconsin team that has a really good run defense, but is atrocious against the pass. And it took a little while for Mr. $12 million man to get off the schneid and put up some passing numbers. He had 55 yards passing in the first half on 4 of 9 passing.
Oh, well, they're not even letting him try.
Say what?
So they're not even letting him try. Like, geez, dude.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't see a lick of this game because Georgia was beating Kentucky during this.
Yeah. Well, this is why I said that I thought it wasn't a great idea for him to choose Michigan, even though they paid him a lot more over
Ball
LSU.
caddy. Center, running back. Center, running back.
Yeah, you're a ball caddy. That's right. But he ended up, so he was 4 for his first 9 for 55 yards. He ended up going 14 for his next 19 for 225 yards or 215 yards and a touchdown. So he did a little bit, got it going. Justice Haynes is really, he's proven to be as good as that Wisconsin run defense is. Justice Haynes still finds a way to bust off like a 40-plus yarder.
What happens, just like last year with Ohio State, you take an SEC running back and throw him in the Big Ten, and good things happen.
And it just beat your head into a brick wall, and then eventually, poof, you bust through.
Bust open, yeah, dude.
If LSU would only learn how to run the ball with that level of commitment, but I digress. Look, shout out to Bryce Underwood and Michigan. A good win there for them. Wisconsin, I think, is they're okay. Like I said, they can
Fickle on
they can handle the run. Luke Fickell is one of those ones who, similar to James Franklin, may be on his way out.
Well, the general public wanted Luke Fickell to because Wisconsin has like a history of like being very good and competitive in the Big Ten. They just have not been that in a long time.
Yep.
So
when you lose, 3 in a row, starting with getting blown out by Alabama.
Right.
And Ty Simpson threw for like 400 yards and 4 touchdowns or something. Then you lose to Maryland at home by, what did they? It was they lost by 17. And then you lose this one. It's just it doesn't get a whole lot easier because the rest of their road is. Listen to this. This is what's crazy about the Big Ten is that you'll have somebody like Wisconsin play this schedule. And then you'll have like so many of the like top of the league teams who just like never play each other.
Yeah.
And I don't understand that. Like how come we have in the SEC, we have like all of the best teams like just playing against each other and picking each other off here and there.
Yeah.
You have Penn State who plays like, what do they have? They have the Oregon game, they have Ohio State, and they have Indiana.
Yes.
But then Ohio State and Oregon don't have that level of I think they only get 2, and Indiana I think only gets 1 or 2 of them. But then you have this schedule coming up for Wisconsin after they have already lost to Michigan, lost to Alabama, lost to Maryland. They've got Iowa coming up at home, then Ohio State at home, then at Oregon, a bye week, Washington at home, at Indiana, Illinois at home. Good luck, man. Good luck, Luke Fickell, keeping the job.
Yeah, I mean, we all wanted it to work out for him, but it just isn't, and it's probably going to be time for a change, whether they want it to or not, with Wisconsin. But we'll see. But yeah, hey, listen, I feel like this week was like the come down from previous weekend, which is all the game, overtime and us in Alabama and all these different stuff.
Right.
But there was some, there was a lot of key things, which is Billy Napier keeping his job and Miami cementing themselves as probably one of the best teams in college football, if
Yep.
not the best. We'll have yet to see. But hey Chad, for me and for you, this has been one great recap, and we have an even better preview coming out later
That's right.
this week with a lot of good games on the horizon, my friends. For me and for Chad, this has been the South End Zone. We appreciate y'all. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We out.
Ladies and gentlemen. Our intent was to eat. Our intent was to come eat and be hungry.
We're taking receipts, and we'll see you at the national championship.